You've started your business. You've got going. You've got customers. Money is coming in. The business is growing. But you can't handle the amount of business that's coming your way. You're working at night, you're working at the weekends. It's getting stressful. How do you avoid letting down customers? How do you get it all done? When is it right time to hire someone? One of the most difficult questions in business is, when do you go from being a solo entrepreneur to a multi person business? Welcome to the Rebel Entrepreneur. The extraordinary belongs to those that create it. Rebelling against business plans and debt, rebelling against what society expects of us to build cool businesses, make money, have fun, and do good. Let's create something extraordinary together. Welcome to the Rebel Entrepreneur. Welcome back to the Rebel Entrepreneur Coaching Series, and I have back with me Adam from Craft Box Club. Welcome back, Adam.
Hello, I am back indeed. Good
You
to
are
be
back. It's
am
been a
back.
while since we've spoken. You've kind of had some time off over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like it now, but yeah, I think I did. I think last time we were meant to talk, I sort of ran away and panicked a lot. I can't remember exactly why, but there are all sorts of reasons. All sorts of things have been going on.
So let's start with where you are with the business, because it's been about a month since we've spoken and a lot changes in the month. Tell me what's going on. Where are you with the business? What's happening? Because last time we were speaking, there was a lull in sales. Lockdown had ended in the UK. People weren't crafting as much. All sorts was going on, and we were having a bit of a panic.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to panic about, isn't there? It's the good thing about having a business.
Well, it's never a dull moment. There is always something to be working on.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. Yeah, so there was a bit of a lull after the huge spike at Christmas time, and but I've still had the subscriptions from Christmas to kind of cover, because a lot of them were 6 month subscriptions. So I've been kind of fulfilling those orders and keeping those going. A lot of those have kind of run off because they finished at the end of June,
Yes.
and new sales started to kind of disappear, like you said, because of lockdown ending and people wanting to be at the beach and in the pub, and do sort of outdoory, other things. I think talking to other people doing similar things, they've also seen that as a trend, and I think it's been a bit of
Okay.
a trend for e-commerce in general. So that took a little bit of a sting out of that, but didn't feel great, Alan.
No, I could sure it wouldn't. So at the end of that month, you had a bunch of 6 month subscriptions running out at the end of June. What was the retention rate on 6 month subscriptions? How many came back versus how many just dropped off?
So at the moment, most of them has dropped off. So I'd love to have the exact numbers, but a lot of this is just going to be based on my gut feel of where it is at the moment. Because when all of this happened, I was on holiday, so I haven't really processed all of this. But yeah, most of the gift subscriptions have gone. The regular subscriptions that came in, I'd say probably about 60-70% of those have stayed, and I've still got quite a good solid core of people who are staying. And then the last month over July, even though it has been heat waves and hot and sunny and everything, um, the new sales have come back. And then also some of the people who had gift subscriptions have been getting in touch saying, "How do I sign up to this again? Let me know, and then I'll sign up." And so people have been coming back again, and yeah, which has been great. And they've been coming back I have to say, without very much effort from my part, apart from on the marketing front, they've just been coming back because they enjoyed it. So yeah, so that's great. But I'm sure we can make a bit more of that.
So I want to dive in here. Like, we'll come back to the overview in a second, but I do want to dive in on feedback, because I think one of the things that business owners forget to do quite often is ask for feedback, and not in a generic thing that goes out after everyone. I mean, it's useful to do that, but I go on a flight and I get an immediate email afterwards saying, "Tell us what you think of the flight. Tell us this, tell us that." And I'm bored of filling in those surveys because I think no one ever listens. Like, I've never had a reply. They say thank you at the time. No one ever says, like, "Thanks for your advice, it actually helped us." No one seems to care. And I guess I should bother filling them in because it'll improve the service, but it doesn't really do much for me. So I'm not talking about that generic way, but I am talking about, like, these customers. You had a huge number of 6 month subscriptions at that point. Like, what are we doing to capture their feedback, their thoughts, what they loved, what they hated, and also an effort to get them to come back?
So I've got this rolling monthly thing with the newsletter where I contact people who haven't had a box for 20 days or something like that. So their subscriptions run out and then they've had a bit of a time to think about it. And
Yes.
then some people have been getting back because of that. So I'm going through, what I do is I pull out a mailing list from that, just those people, and then I do send a generic mail out, even though it's got their name on. But then I go through that list and send them individual emails to see how it went. I mean, the main thing is, did you enjoy it? How did it go? And then from there, some people have been getting in touch and renewing again. I probably, yeah, I say it's monthly. I don't think I've done it in time to actually capture the 6 month people yet. I mean, there were some 3 month subscriptions, and that's been quite effective for them. But that's definitely something that I need to do now, or
Do
probably
you
last month, Alan.
do you have people's phone numbers?
No, I have. I don't capture that. I've only got their emails.
Please, can you start?
Well, so I think you've mentioned this before, and I like the idea of having the numbers to call people up. What I've started to do is to try and make the website sort of slicker to get people to purchase. Is basically take away the amount that they need to enter when when they do purchase. So I've taken away as much as possible, and that email is just the bare minimum. So is it? Do you think it's still worth capturing those numbers, even though it might slow people down to a purchase?
So, do you think it would slow people down to a purchase adding a phone number field? Do you think you get a significant drop off rate if you said, if you purchase, we need your phone number to make sure you get the boxes?
I just don't know. I've heard that. So uh, we've talked about watching customers on the website before with this Hotjar tool, and having as little as a drop down box was, people were stopping their checkout there. So I think having a phone number is probably less risky because it's something that everyone kind of understands. There's the box there, and it makes sense. But yeah, it's just another one of those extra things to fill in on your way that might irritate people out of signing up.
So, what do you think the benefit is for you to have those phone numbers?
Well, I can make people feel more cared for and get their feedback better, and and yeah, retain more customers once they're there ultimately.
So, could you imagine, like, you've got these bunch of customers that had 6 month subscriptions, you give them a phone call and you say, your 6 month subscription has ended. I just wanted to say thank you for being a customer, and I really appreciate it. Which kit did you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the sort of email that's going out at the moment, in email format. But yeah, it'd be nice to have the phone numbers
And will you get through to them
via email.
via phone? So if you ring them, will you always get through to them?
Well, not always, but probably a bit more than email.
Would you leave a voicemail?
you, what do you reckon? Good, good thing to do. I would if it makes sense. Yeah, why not?
So if you left 0 voicemails and it's from a number they don't recognize, what's the impact of you calling?
Nothing.
So if you rung people and you left them a nice voicemail and said, "It's Adam from Craftbox Club. I've sent you an email as well. You can reply to that if it's easier. I just wanted to say thank you for being a customer."
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
How would they react?
Um, yeah, I mean that's a nice bit of TLC, isn't it? They would feel loved.
Yeah, I would feel loved.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last company that rung me and said thank you. Um, but when you're building that customer base, that can be what creates the raving fans. And it's the most underutilized term. Thank you. Like, how often do businesses, other than the generic like email that comes out afterwards, like we all get those emails. I get an email every time saying, "Thank you for being my customer." I don't actually believe them most of the time because it's automated.
Hmm.
And I'm left wondering how much they care. Airbnb had a big one. Like, I spend a fortune with them. They send me a generic thing saying, "Your advice is really important to us." Well, the last time I filled out their feedback survey, they wouldn't publish my feedback because they said it wasn't the owner's fault that the property was on a building site and they didn't tell me about it. And they banned my feedback from Airbnb's site. So, like, do I care about them? Like, it had the opposite effect. It makes me want to go get lost in unpolite terms. I think I
Yes.
did.
Sure.
Um, so I think, like, just like the lack of care that's out there and the apathy, if you can be different, it is unbelievable what that will do to your connection. They might not refer themselves, they might not come back themselves, but they might well refer you to someone else just because they know you care.
Yeah, I mean, it's really it would be standing out, wouldn't it, from the crowd in terms of what people are doing? It'd be
Yes.
very different.
And I know you've listened to a few of the episodes of the podcast, but one of the things I repeat is how can you do the opposite? Because if you do the opposite to everyone else, you will stand out. So if everyone else in your industry is sending automated emails, what's the opposite?
The telephone, the fax
Or
machine, the
carrier
pager,
pigeon? Fax
carrier
machine. I
pigeon.
love that. Start faxing your customers. Genius.
Yeah. Smoke flares, fireworks. Please, can we do fireworks? If only there was a way of. No, let's not send people fireworks. No, just
Maybe not in the
let's think
post.
that through. No, maybe not.
But
I
does this kind of make sense in terms of the customer engagement and the retention rates?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so many people are, what's the word I'm looking for, Adam? When I tell them to ring people, and I know this because I can see it in their faces and because I did the same, you can feel the resistance. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I tell you what, there is no better way to connect with people. There really isn't. Um, and if you, like, how easy is it to ignore an email?
Very easy. I do it 100 times a day.
How easy, like with a voicemail, you don't even get through to them. You leave a voicemail. Like, do people at least listen to it?
Yeah, and I don't know. I think what I would do is I'd probably leave if it's a random number. I might leave it to go to voicemail, and then you'd pick it up and you'd just go, oh, that's nice. And yeah,
Yes.
you'd end up with a good feeling. So yeah, you probably wouldn't even ever have to speak to anybody.
No, just leave voicemails.
Yeah,
Just you could get 100 calls done in like 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour.
yeah,
I know, just leaving like 30-second voicemails for people going, thanks for being a customer. Just wanted to say it's unbelievable what impact that would create. Because you're right. If they don't know your number, most people send it to voicemail nowadays, and that's fine. That's it's better for you because they'll feel loved and they might reply to the email or they might just sign up again. Or if they do actually want to ring you back, they can and they'll have a chat. Most people won't. They'll just drop you an email back to the automated one you've sent. But at least they know you care. It's not just an automated email.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'll stick a box on the website and see how we go.
Are you still feeling resistance, Adam?
Uh, a tiny bit. I mean, just I've just heard so much. I mean, not so much about talking to people. I know that's scary generally, but I've had so many lovely interactions. Some of them people do call me up sometimes and have a chat and things like that, and that's nice. And I have loads of lovely feedback from emails, and I've got the Facebook Messenger thing on the website now, so people use that quite a lot. So that's been not quite nice. I guess the tiny bit of resistance is just on. I've heard so much about this sort of friction with e-commerce. I just don't want people to slow down. But let's give it a try.
Yeah, I think there's a mix between reducing all friction and having a little bit. Like there's going to be some friction. My computer now autofills the contact form when I'm buying something, which I love. So it will put in my name, my address, my email, and my phone number with one click, which I am used to doing that in every site I go to. And then I'd add one final bit. We had a surprising experiment by mistake for the Rebel Business School. And there were two ways, we didn't realize this, there were two ways for people to sign up to our events. They could sign up through Facebook and they could sign up through the website. And the website asked them a whole bunch of questions, including all sorts of details about them, like what stage of business were they in, what their email address was, what this was, what that was, all sorts of stuff. And on Facebook, they could just like click sign up and it gave us their name and email and that was it, and there was zero friction. The fascinating bit was that the sign up to show up rates, i.e., a huge number of people signed up on Facebook because there was no friction. Less people signed up on the form on the website because there was more friction. However, they were twice as likely to actually show up to the event because they were committed. They did
Yeah,
stuff. They did a certain amount to show that they cared enough to be involved. And sometimes I think we get shy of asking customers to do things, but we should ask them to do things. Like they need to be invested in this process. Like they need to have, like, oh, I bought that subscription by mistake just because it was so easy to buy. I'll cancel it the next month. Whereas they filled out a few questions and they're at least a little bit engaged. They know they've bought it. They haven't bought it by mistake. They've done it on purpose. So I think, like, you're right. There is a balance. But I think going too far to just give me your first name and email address and like send me that, I think is too far the other way. And there is a middle ground here.
okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, I think particularly because it's a subscription product, so it's it makes sense for everybody to be invested for longer term than just buying a key ring or something. Uh, you know, so it really is something about learning crafts over a long time, and I have a relationship with people to help them out doing that. So yeah, it makes sense.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting. So, to everyone listening to this, how can you personally connect with your customers and get them to feel like you care? Because if there was one business strategy that I could give you, it would be to care. How can you care more for your customers? How can they actually feel like you care? Because some of these automated tools actually have the opposite effect and make people feel like you don't care. Like I'm just an automated cog in the wheel, and I'm just, you're taking my money. It's all automated. I never hear from you. I don't feel like you care from me. Like, if there was one strategy I could give everyone listening to this, it would be, how can you care more for your customers? Care for them. There, I will come off my high horse now, Adam, and we'll get back to the update. But I think that's actually really important for everyone, is caring for their customers. And I think if we can do that for you, the more, because you do care, I think it's getting them to feel it. Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. And I think I've had the best results where people have stayed the longest, where, even sometimes the first contact has been where there's been something that hasn't gone quite right. And because of that connection and me sorting it out quickly, then I think, possibly they might have stayed longer because they know that I was there to sort it out. I think, a lot of the time people don't worry about the customers, myself included, don't worry so much about one thing going wrong, but it's making sure that it gets sorted out and that they're cared for in the process. So yeah, that all fits together with that thought.
They will become your biggest raving fans.
Mm.
Actually, if you could get every customer to go wrong so that you could speak to them at the start, you'd probably have higher retention rate because they know you're there for them. And it's fascinating. Cool. So let's go back to the update. So we've had this sales that came in at Christmas that have started to run out. We've got some new sales that have picked up in August a little bit. Where else are you with the business at the moment?
So last time in the last podcast, we were talking about doing PR. So I've spent a bit of time doing PR. Alan,
Ooh,
it's a
interesting.
it's a big subject. So the first stage of doing that was to write a bio. So I've got that ready, and I think I'd sent it out to a few people. Um, and I was getting some professional photos done. So I've had a professional photographer around, and yeah, I had the photos back this week.
How do they look?
Uh, well, it's difficult to say when they're a view, isn't it? Not you, me. Yeah, I, I mean, yeah, I think they're pretty cool. That yeah, they've come out looking good.
Awesome. Are any on the website so that people listening can check them out?
They are not on the website yet. They are on social media, but they haven't made it to the website yet. They,
Okay,
they,
so
they are they are
how can
fresh this
people have a
week.
look?
If they go to Instagram, is probably the best place, and that's at Craftbox Club UK.
Excellent. So check out Adam's new photos. So where are you sticking them, Adam?
um, so all over the place. Where am I sticking them? They need to go on the website. So I've got a piece that's about me, so I need to put those up on the website. They are going out to on social media, and I'm trying to tell a bit more of a story about me because I haven't had anything on there at all apart from one very old photo on social media, and I think people, yeah, I've put a couple on there so far, and people are kind of responding to that. I've also signed up to a Facebook group, which is a closed PR and entrepreneur um, like private Facebook group, and I've been watching what people have been doing and the sort of way to interact on it because it's quite strict with the rules on there. So I've been watching that
Mm.
for about 3 weeks, I guess. And this afternoon, I put my first introduction out onto that page. So the format
Awesome.
is you do an introduction and then you do pitches after that. And you start it with hashtag pitch and you pitch different stories. So there's people from magazines, national papers that kind of hang out there and they go and ask for stories and you can pitch stories to them.
So you're just starting down that road.
Yeah, so I've been having a look at it for a while to see how it was working, and I've just started on that and just posted this afternoon and got a few nice comments so far, so that's good.
Have you been doing any direct outreach that we spoke about?
I have not been doing a lot of that. I've got to say, it's been a stressful time the last couple of months. I have been contacting the Gathered website. So I've sent them a few emails, 3 emails so far, to say thank you for featuring me on their subscription boxes webpage, because it's still driving a lot of traffic, and whenever I ask people where they found me, it generally tends to be there. So that's the one I've been focusing on, and you know, and that's it at the moment, which is just hugely frustrating.
So you've just had a stressful couple of months. Are you
Hmm.
feeling like it's time to get back to it now, or have you still got a lot of life stuff that you need to deal with? I mean, where's your energy and time and focus, Adam?
So it's what I say is I'm doing this. I've got 2 days a week to do this, and uh, my roof fell in, for example,
This is
a couple
literally,
of weeks
not
ago.
metaphorically.
Literally fell in. Yeah. So it's amazing how those couple of days disappear when you're tearing a roof down and putting it back in again. Um, so what I've been trying to do is focus on the things that I need to do so that my customers are getting the things that they paid for, and they feel loved and all those sorts of things. So I've been focusing on just product development and making sure that the stuff goes out to the customers so far.
Yes.
Um, the next couple of weeks is going to be busy still because the roof is still not fixed, and I'm meant to be going on holiday in a couple of weeks. So what I've been trying to do is plan a Gantt chart out, like a project plan in a spreadsheet with the things that I need to do in order of, you know, absolutely boxes have to be sent out as priority number one, and then there's sort of steps down to the things that are still a priority in terms of things like sales and marketing, very important, um, and then and then things that are less of a priority, so that I don't have to think about what I'm dropping. I know what I can drop and what I have to focus on a certain day, and I'm picking out how much of the day I can spend on things. So sometimes, it's summer holidays, so I'm spending most of the day with my daughter, but I've got the evening, so I'm making sure I've got, like, I spend some time on this in the evenings, for example. So yeah, it's not a great time to work on huge projects or anything like that.
Well,
It's
you are
yeah, it's
working
mad.
on a huge project. You're working on the roof. That's a huge
Yeah,
project.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's quite good fun because I think it's in the bio that I'm a Lego fan, and it's been kind of like, well, it's really messy Lego, but it's good fun. But it's no good for the business.
No, and that's sometimes the bit. And you're absolutely right about what you can drop and what you can't. And there are the customers that have to get the boxes every month. Like that just has to happen. And sales and marketing in any business is always the thing that gets dropped first because you're just fulfilling the customer orders, you're doing the work. I don't have time for sales and marketing. And it's one of those things that is not urgent. Like the phone is not there looking at you going, pick me up and make the sales calls. It doesn't do that, but it is incredibly important because if you fast forward 3 months and we've not done any sales and marketing, well, the numbers will show in your sales and in what's happening. But then we have to at times accept, like, if the roof falls in, that has to be done first. We just need to realize that in X amount of times, there will be an impact in our dip in activity in the sales and marketing. And then we have to work out what's the highest value things that we can
Yeah.
do. And the highest value things we can do is try and keep the existing customers. In terms of the amount of effort you have to put in and the return you get back, the likely conversion, keeping existing customers is far easier, far more fun, far more pleasurable than it is finding new customers. And like, if you had to drop one of those two activities, I would say drop getting new customers until you've got a bit more space in your life and focus all of your energy on keeping the existing ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think so. There's keeping them, as in there's sort of levels of that, isn't it? So there's like keeping the ones that are still signed up, making sure they're happy, and then keeping ones that have just dropped off. Kind of keeping them, getting them back as well. That should be easier than reaching out to new people. I'm also very conscious that we talked about this being quite seasonal, and I just really want to make sure that I also stay on top of the uh, the kind of Christmas customers, because they'll be the people that I'm trying to hang on to this time next year. So I need to make sure that I'm at least thinking about that in advance, so I can really take advantage of that.
Well, we're 4.5 months out from Christmas. So the date is now the 4th of August. So we're about 4.5 months out. And my parents used to own a pub, Adam. And every, I don't know, May, June, my mum would ask me to design the Christmas menu. And the chef would design it, obviously, but then I would put it together physically, get it printed. I would always put Christmas tunes on with the sunshine out, and I would listen to Christmas tunes and design the menu. And that's because we knew that a huge percentage of our money came in from those Christmas parties, and we had to have the marketing materials ready no matter what. Um, and we would get those menus out, they would all be ready. We would start handing them out August, September, October. People are really like, and by time mid October, it's almost too late.
Yeah.
It's almost over. Like, Christmas is gone. What are you talking about? I was planning that 6 months ago. Uh, but it's incredible how far in advance we need to be for Christmas. And if you talk about retailers, they're planning Christmas in May and June to get ready for all the orders, all the supplies. But this is going to be a big time of year for you. But for you, I think it's just lining up the marketing and the sales. That's what we need to do, because the fulfillment all happens afterwards.
There is that. The only thing is that I need to know what the Christmas box is going to look like, so I can get photos out to do the PR and to get the pre the I pre-sold a load of Christmas boxes in early November, for example, last year. So I need to get the Christmas page set up and the Christmas box designed at least. So now, so that I can get all that ready. But yeah, not the fulfillment, not knowing where it's all going to come from necessarily.
Yes. So I, this comes back to the perennial problem of a business owner. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. Where do we focus our time? What do we do? A couple of questions for you based on this. Have you got anyone that can help you?
um, well, so I know this. This was my first experience really with having anyone else help on the with specific bits on the business, was with the photographer, and that felt very strange to have somebody else involved, because like possibly a lot of us, I'm a bit of a control freak, so I guess there might be a few people around, but I don't know if there's anyone I can rely on for a substantial amounts of time.
But I don't think you need to rely on substantial amounts of time. I think you need clearly defined tasks that you can ask for help with.
Okay.
Um, and it is fulfilling X or creating Y, or even if it's just you've got three super fans and you invite them on a call to design the Christmas package together. They would love that, to be involved in that. And you've got the brainstorm, the idea, the energy that comes from it. You all work together. I don't know what it is, but the one thing I do know is that you become the bottleneck at a certain stage. I became the bottleneck in my business because it was only me running the courses. And I could only be in one place at once in front of so many people. And I had to hire people and trust them for things to happen. I had to ask for friends to help. I had to do this stuff. Otherwise, you become the bottleneck and you only have 2 days a week plus time you steal back in the evenings after your daughter goes to sleep.
Mm.
Like, you only have so much time. And to get past you, the only way is for you to ask for help, whether that's from someone you pay, whether that's from friends, doesn't really matter. So, how can we help you to stop being the bottleneck in your business, Adam?
I do not know. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think I feel like if I get some people to help kind of temporarily, that will probably end up taking more time to to get that all organized than it would if I just did it. Um, yeah, and I know it's got to that's got to happen at some point. Um, it is that that point is now. Your eyes are saying that point is now.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because you're right. When you get someone new, you spend more time training them than it would have been to actually do the job yourself. But if you never do that, you can never grow past it. So at some point, you have to invest the time in getting people to help, getting people to support. There are some defined tasks that you can do, and you can say to someone, okay, here's what I need you to do. Like, let's just take subscription drop offs. Subscription drop offs, you've got a spreadsheet that you can list. Here's the 6 people whose subscriptions end this month. And you could give that to someone and say, I want you to email each one individually and ring them, ask them for feedback, connect them, leave a voicemail, say thank you. That's your task. Like, that's a task that isn't going to take much training, but it's such a high value task. And you could outsource that to someone you know, to a friend. Um, you could outsource it to a VA, virtual assistant, someone to help you with that. Like, there are tasks within your business that are definable, that we can get you help and leverage so that you can spend your time creating the Christmas box and generating the sales that are going to come for that Christmas piece, because you need the headspace and the time to get Christmas on track. Uh, uh, does that kind of make sense? Like, if you made a list of the tasks in your business that needs to happen over the next however months, which you've started to do with your chart, which of those could you get help with?
Uh, yeah, I could definitely list out and break out the different tasks and processes and things like that. And to some extent, I've automated them to take away, to give myself a bit of headspace back. So doing the dispatch every week is the difficult part of that. So that happens by itself. But yeah, I think the box packing would be quite a useful thing to get help with. And yeah, then I could spend more time on the setting and the PR and things like that. That would be really helpful. I just I'm not sure I've got people to ask on that.
Well, do you have friends?
Not close. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of nowhere over here. And yeah, a lot of them are hours away and also have children. Um,
Ah,
so I'm getting help with the roof. I'm getting help with the childcare. So a lot of my family help with the childcare. So that's sort of them kind of use up neighbours doing the roof. Um, possibly, it's yeah, it's not something that I've thought about a lot because I just I'm not sure I see it happening, but
So here's the question that I would like you to take away.
mm,
Uh, who who could you ask for help?
yeah, I'll take it.
And for everyone listening to this, it's the same for all of us. Like, we get to a certain stage where we're going, I'm under pressure, I can't do this. I need to ask for help, but I don't know how. Um, Katie, my wife, when I get under pressure with the podcast, she comes and helps me. She helps me with the filing, the organization, and sometimes just having her sit with me for an hour and a half. We get more done together than I ever would do alone. Um, and it does help me. And if there are defined activities, could you hire someone to help you with those defined activities? Sometimes that takes you more time, but sometimes it just saves you a fortune of time. Like, is there a set list that they need to ring every week? Is there a set group that you want them to email? Is there a set thing that you want them to do, a set activity? Like, Adam wants to do more PR outreach for Christmas. Like, can you hire someone off People Per Hour or Fiverr.com to create you a list of all the contacts that you need, so that then you're just sending the personal email, you're not doing the research as well? Like, there are little things that you can do to make your life easier and make sure this is going forwards. And I think that's the key bit. When you get to a certain stage with your business, you need help. Otherwise, you will be ever time limited by your own energy and time.
yeah. I
Adam
mean,
is staring at the screen. I feel like he's having ideas and thoughts. Who knows what's going on in there? Adam, what's going on in there?
it's good. So, I mean, what I would say is that I think so. I do ask for help from my girlfriend for the fun stuff. So we're designing the kits together now, and sort of testing them out together, which has been brilliant. So I don't feel guilty about that because that's fun. And I remember, deep into last Christmas, I had some family round to pack some boxes, but it's you know having them for 2 hours or something. What I really need now is to have them do a month's load of dispatch to clear the time for this at this stage.
Which
So
maybe
I
you've got
think,
to hire someone to help you there. Maybe
yeah,
you need to, you know, find a local young person, a friend, someone that you can pay to help you for a day or whatever, make it a fun activity. Like, you are right, there's only so much that people can help because they've got their own lives.
mm,
um, but if you make it a fun day and you pay them to do like, you could actually have a really good day doing stuff together.
yeah, it could be fun. You can tell I've not thought about this whatsoever.
There's some big
um,
silent pauses, which I love, which means that I've probably made you think slightly differently.
yeah, that's it. I think part of what it is that it doesn't feel like enough of a business yet to get help. But it's this thing where I don't feel like it's a sort of proper business until I've hit my sales target, but then I can't do that until possibly I need to get help with doing that. So I need to put the time into doing the sales to hit the target. At the moment, I'm just not getting there.
Well, yeah, you're just working on the business.
Mm.
You're not setting it up for the future sales. And that happens to all of us at times. And there is a point where it's like the chicken or the egg thing of what comes first. Is the business grow to the right size first? Or do I get help first? And what I've been saying to people recently is, you should be thinking about the get help whilst you're at about 80% of your capacity. Because once you get to 100% of your capacity, there's no way you can get that help because you're just running around like headless chicken trying to make everything happen. And you actually have to drop stuff to get help to push on. So you should be doing it. One should be working on it before you get to the stage where you're going, I can't do it all. Um, and finding ways to get those small bits outsourced, supported, 1 day a week here, some bit of help here, bit of that, whatever it is. Maybe it's you've got your big Boxing Day once a however long, once a month, and you have 3 people that you hire for that 1 day. And the 3 of you get together, do everything in 1 day, and it's all done. Like, we just need to make it so that it works, so that you get that work done more, so that you have time to do what is your highest value task, which is always for the owner selling the business.
Yeah, that's a big thought to deal with, but yeah, I think that's going to make the difference between being able to get to where I want to and not. I guess another way of sort of solving that problem is to get more of my time back from working part time. So perhaps at Christmas last year, I managed to get down to 2 days a week doing my part time job. Maybe I should do that a bit earlier. Possibly negotiate that a little bit earlier, because we know that it gets busy then, and there's
Yes.
more work that needs to be done now. Yeah.
Well, it's coming, isn't it? It's coming, and if you get this right, if we manage to get this pre-work done for this Christmas push, it's going to make you more money than your other job. We just need to work out that sort of balance of when the time is and how much time, because you're right, you can get more of your time back, you can buy other people's time, you can ask for help, but there is a bunch of stuff that needs to be done, and someone's got to do with it. Someone's got to do it. So yeah, how do you feel about that? Is it time to go from 3 days to 2 days? Is it, where are you with this in your head?
There's all sorts of different things going on there. So there's with the just the practicalities of doing a job 2 days a week. People don't really like you doing that, because I don't think there's anyone else doing the job that I'm doing less than 5 days a week. So to get to 3 is quite unusual anyway. And then to disappear for another day, I think people might become a bit uncomfortable with that, even though I think it's manageable. And then also there's the general sort of life goals of getting towards that. The plan is to get towards being partially financially independent, to have more security to do this. And certainly at the moment, the 3 days a week job gets me closer towards that than the crafting. But that's something that I want to do at the end of this, and still. So it's all one great big balancing act.
So I think the homework for you, Adam, and for everyone listening to this is, what are the highest value activities that need to happen for your business over the next months? And there's the product and the production, and then there's the marketing and the sales, and what needs to be done. And first thought is, can you get someone? Can you hire someone to help you? What are the easy tasks that you can train someone and work with them to get done quicker? Like, can you hire someone to help you? Can you get a friend to help you with certain bits? How can you make more fun and more progress with this? And then it is, what absolutely has to happen. Like, what is the key tasks that absolutely have to happen? Because for any business, everyone listening to this, there are certain things that have to happen for you for that business to be successful. And for you, Adam, it is the Christmas box has to be designed, the Christmas webpage has to be up, the PR has to happen. Well, PR, that's interesting. Well, we could hire someone to make the list. We could hire someone to make some phone calls and to get you in front of the right people. And like that's a more outsourceable element that can be done. And then we've got the follow up calls and the different elements there, the getting the customers back. And do we have someone that we can do, or is that a you thing? Can you leave those voicemails quickly for people saying, I care, this is this, and the follow up bits, especially when you get the phone numbers in the future, but you know what I mean. And it's thinking, where can I use other people? Where can I do this myself? Where can I buy back more time? Where can I be efficient? But I think we really need to start being a bit more strategic with your business and where you're investing time and setting us up for Christmas. Because I actually think we could be fighting to get summer sales now, which we have been doing for quite a few months, and it's hard work. Or we could just say, I'm going to ditch the Facebook advertising experiments for now, and I'm going to focus on getting ready for Christmas. And I'm going to focus on setting a business up for the long term by doing the PR, by doing the promotion, by getting the pages ready. Then when I've got all that ready, I'll come back to the Facebook experiments and the marketing experiments from there. But that would be what I would be saying to everyone listening to this, and to you, Adam, is thinking about what has to be done to set us up for the long term, and then who can do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think that's where I'm going around to as well with the Facebook stuff. I think we haven't revealed the final results yet. What should we say about that before I go on?
Well, let's save Facebook, the results of all the Facebook advertising, for the next episode.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to deconstruct and to uncover there, and to work out where to go next. Because there's a huge amount, and you've put a lot of time into that, and you've got a lot of learning, and we need to then sort of properly wrap that up. So I'd like to do that for the next episode.
All right.
I think this episode is all about what really needs to be done to set the business up for the future, and who's going to do it, because you can't do it all yourself. And that's what I think. So from this conversation, if you could sort of wrap it up into a nice bow of what you're going to do next, if you can take my random musings, Adam, and turn it into something comprehensible, I would appreciate that. What are you going to do next?
So I need to work out what the key activities are that need to be done. So I need to break that down and come up with a plan. And I think that's going to include really getting on top of the PR. So making sure that I'm on the craft websites, the gift guides, if I can still get there, that I'm on the radar for people in terms of the press. I think I need to still keep going with the customer retention. So I need to put some more energy into that. I need to make sure that the Christmas box is designed and that I've worked out the offers for that, and I've got the website ready. And then I've just written sort of outsourcing and help, and have a think about that one. It's a big shift, that one, because I think part of the reason for creating Craftbox Club was for something that I could do, and it be sort of my thing, and that it's not something that my vision for it isn't to become like this big business, even like a small business with I've never really thought about employing people, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's quite a big shift to get into that. I know we're just talking about people helping out for a little bit, but it's a change going from 1 to 2 people even.
or 1 to 1.15,
1.15,
where they help
yeah.
you for 1 day a week.
Yeah.
I never wanted to build a big business with a team and people. That was not on my list of activities. Um, I guess I want you to think of it like this. Like, to start a business takes a huge amount of energy. Once it's up and running, it takes less energy to keep it going. But there's a massive amount of stuff you have to do to like get that energy going, to get out there into the marketplace, to get the PR, to get the sales. There's a huge amount of energy that has to go in to get it up and running. Then you can find a nice rhythm of delivering the boxes, doing the marketing. We can find more of a rhythm. But I feel like you've got like this primer energy that needs to come in.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you need some help to get that going. And it doesn't mean you're going to build it into a big business. You can maintain it as a lifestyle business. You've just got a lot to do right now. And a roof to fix, and a daughter to look after, and a part-time job. So sometimes we all need a little bit of help. Even I do, Adam. Don't tell anyone. Even I need help sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I've taken that on board. Yeah, it's a bit scary, but I'll have a think about it.
When someone says, I'll have a think about it, that normally means nothing's going to happen. But that's
No.
okay. I will give you the space to have time to think about it. But just know I will be asking about it next episode.
Yes. I will have a think about it half an hour before the next episode.
Naughty!
No. No, I promise. I'm thinking about it already.
So, Adam, this has been great fun. We will be back for the next episode where we will talk about the Facebook ads, what the results were, what happened, whether to keep going. I think we've kind of had a thought about that, but I think we should have a more defined thought, and we'll touch back in on the sales and marketing and everything that's going on. As always, you have been a legend. Thank you for your time and energy and for your openness and frankness, because this doesn't work without you being open and honest about whether you're going to do things or not. It just doesn't work. So thank you.
Thank you. The soap opera continues.
It does indeed. If you're listening to this, the closing thoughts are you need to ask for help before you need it. If you wait until after you need the help when you've got too much, that's too late. That's too late because you just don't have the time to organize it. So when you're thinking, am I there? Do I need help now? If you're actually having that thought, you're probably already past the point where you do need some help. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a day a week from a friend. It can be a virtual assistant online that you have a meeting with and set some tasks once a week. It can be pick a piece that you can automate, pick a piece that you can outsource, pick a piece that you can ask a friend. But if you don't let control of your business to other people, you're not keeping control, you're throttling it. And that, I think, the bit is that you are the biggest limitation for your business. You're the person who started it, but you're also the biggest limitation. And I became that for my business, and I had to get out of the way of everyone else for it to grow past me. So think about, what are the things that you can ask for help with? How can you get support on this journey to building the business of your dreams? Thank you for listening to The Rebel Entrepreneur. Go ask for help. You can have any life you want to. Choose to build something cool. Choose to take action. Choose to work to make your dreams become reality. Stand out. Be different. Be yourself. Be a rebel entrepreneur.